We are thrilled to present this year's honorees for the Top Women Lawyers in Leadership Award. This award was created in recognition that while women have made strides in leadership roles like partnership, the numbers remain stagnant and do not reflect the proportion of women practicing law. Over the years, we interviewed these women leaders to ask why that is. They all articulated one vital principle: flexibility. Flexibility at home in the form of supportive partners so they can be at work when they need to be, and flexibility at work in the form of understanding superiors so they can be at home when they need to be. We call on superiors to provide that flexibility for women at work in recognition that women are assets that should be actively retained. Before COVID, it might derail a woman from the partnership track to ask for a flexible work schedule, like working from home part-time. For nearly 2 years, we have realized that even in litigation, we can be productive from home. We ask the decision makers to consider retaining flexible work from home policies even after COVID is over. We hope that you find the insight of the award winners inspiring tonight. With attention on this important issue, we hope that one day women will achieve true parity with their male coworkers in leadership positions in the practice of law. Thank you for your support.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Kaminsky, and I'm one of the committee members of the Women's Bar Association of Illinois 2021 Top Women Lawyers in Leadership event. I, along with the co-chairs Molly Condon, Jennifer Yu, Judge Megan Goldish, and the WBAI President Lauren Tuckey, are so excited to have you here with us tonight and honoring women who have made major professional contributions through their service in a leadership role. We'd also like to extend a sincere thank you to the committee members, Monique Austin and Veritex, for helping make this event possible.
Good evening. My name is Shelley Sutker-Dermer, and I am the presiding judge of the 2nd Municipal District located in Skokie. As the presiding judge, I manage the judges and their assignments in the courthouse. I also hear a Chicago felony room in the courthouse, and I administrate the office, and I'm the representative from the Chief Judge's office.
My name is Sandra Yamate. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the Institute for Inclusion in the Legal Profession.
I'm Sarah Toney of the Toney Law Firm, and I am a criminal defense attorney.
Hi, I'm Megan Mathias. I'm an attorney. I own Lot Mathias Law. I'm a founder of a group called Flash, and I'm running for alderman of the 45th Ward.
My name is Zelda Harris, and I'm the interim dean at Loyola University Chicago School of Law.
My name is Christina Martini. I go by Tina, and I'm an attorney. I am a partner at the law firm of McDermott, Will, and Emery, and I'm based here in Chicago, and I practice in the area of intellectual property.
So my name is Christy Nolly. I am a partner with the law firm of Bates Carey here in Chicago.
You know, there are so many traits that lend themselves to being effective tools for women leaders. And I think that sometimes in today's society, when we're worried about sound bites, it's too easy to just get caught up in terms like, be bold, be gritty, things like that. I think it's more nuanced than that. I think that effective women leaders have a high sense of EQ. So it's not just being attuned to others, but also being self-aware, having EQ about themselves. It's important to be honest. I mean, honesty is always a good thing, especially with lawyers, but it's not just being honest in terms of what you're saying to others or what you're communicating. But it also means you have to be honest with yourself. And sometimes that's hard because it's easy sometimes to want to delude ourselves. You have to be open to change, and not just changes in circumstances, but I mean, open to new ideas and perspectives that can change one's own or others' mind. And really importantly, and I see this a lot, you have to be willing not to be afraid to be unpopular. I see this trait a lot in people. I mean, nobody wants to go out of their way to be unpopular, but I see a lot of lawyers, and this is not just women, but I've seen it in men too, but they're so afraid of being unpopular that they try to be all things to all people, and it catches up. It doesn't work. You need to be true to yourself.
So I think some of the traits of effective women leaders, definitely hard work. If you expect those around you to work hard, you need to show that you're willing to work hard. A dedication to your craft, showing others that you are truly invested and interested in what you do. But I think confidence is huge. And that's not always I think there's a misperception that women should be overly aggressive to show confidence, but I don't believe that's the case. I think confidence is knowing your skill set and understanding what you have to bring to the table. And again, someone who's not overly aggressive to just walk into a situation and then to put on that air, it's not natural. So if you're someone that's more diplomatic or more conversational, or someone who likes to listen and then speak only at the relevant times, I think that's important. Just really knowing your skill set, knowing what you have to bring to the table, and then owning that.
I think to be an effective female leader, it's not just saying, this is how you get involved and this is how to do right. It's really taking them through the process and being there with them. It's not just answering the phone. It's saying, here's an event I think that you should go to, and I'm going to be there. Because the hardest part is walking into the room. I've always said that to my law students or to young lawyers, which is, it's easy for me to say, go to these events and network, but the hardest part is walking in when you don't know anybody. And so to know for sure you're going to know somebody when you walk in that room, even if you walk in together and then you separate and you never are together the rest of the night, that's the confidence that almost everybody needs to get started in these networking events, because nobody feels comfortable when you don't know somebody. So to have a leader to say, you're going to come with me to this event, I'm going to introduce you around, and then that's enough. And that can really jumpstart people's involvement in organizations. The Women's Bar Association can seem really big and really scary until you find a buddy, and whether that isn't a mentor or whether it's somebody who's your same level. If you can create this buddy system where you're going to go to events together, it makes all the difference in the world.
Just knowing how to read the room and understanding what the situation calls for. There are times, as you probably know, where it might be appropriate to be more aggressive and take a more firm stance. There are other times when it's better to listen and to really appreciate what the other side is signaling to you. And so I think through my psychology background, that's helped.
I think that you need to use the people around you to support you. You need to allow them to help you. You can't do everything. I once did a speech actually about juggling being a mom, being a judge, being a spouse, being a child, being all the things you are at the same time. It's not easy. And I know that everyone goes through a period where they think, I can't do it all. It's too much. But there are resources, and I'm very fortunate, just as I'm sure many of my colleagues are. They've had spouses and friends and family who help you, and you need to use those resources. And hopefully you'll get past this part, but every age has its challenges. You think when you're a young mom, when they're younger, It's really when they're in high school for some people that the challenges are more difficult, or in middle school. So you always will need the support of someone to be able to achieve what you want professionally. And there has to be balance, because you're not going to be happy if there's not balance. And I think that's the biggest challenge for working women and leadership roles, in leadership roles or anywhere, is balancing their life.
I would not be where I am today without the wonderful mentors and sponsors that I have had along the way. Sometimes they've touched my life over many years, sometimes it's been just for an hour, but these are people who directionally changed my life and influenced decisions I made, and in turn, ways that I've been able to contribute to others as well. So it isn't just about being mentored, but it's also about paying it forward.
Well, I would say that I have been very fortunate to have both mentors and sponsors. So mentors are people who really show you the way, but I've also benefited from sponsors, people who actually vouch for my work and are able to enter me into spaces, provide really the groundwork for me to enter and to move to the next level. And it's actually what led me back to Chicago after being in Arizona for those many years. As a sponsor, you have to be willing to share the space. You have to understand that you are sponsoring someone that is going to be coming and hopefully one day taking the seat that you are in. And you have to be willing to nurture them, to nurture them into the next level of their career. And I think it takes a person who is not threatened by that reality, that we are all going to have to build a succession plan, and they're lining up the next generation to come after them, and they're putting them into position. It says that you've taken the time to get to know this person. You've taken the time to know what they can do. You understand their value, and you value them as a person. This is a person who understands your work, understands your vision, your mission, and your purpose, and is willing to vouch for it and willing to put their own reputation on the line in sponsorship of you. I love getting to know our students in a very intimate way, understanding who they are, what are their strengths, and their strengths cannot be determined by the transcript alone. Their strength of character is not in the grade. It is in the good work and the deeds that they do. And so that is a complete joy for me, and something that keeps me motivated every day as a dean, to know that I can sponsor the students coming out of Loyola Law. It's really unfair to not reach back and sponsor folks to come after us. If we just leave the positions of leadership and we have not taken the time to nurture, train, and sponsor the next generation, I would say that we have failed in our obligation as lawyers and as leaders. And so I think that obligation is really written into who we are as a profession.
I don't think that there's anything that's happened in my professional career that hasn't been as a result of being mentored and kind of shepherded along in the process. It started when I was a first-year lawyer and, told this is the bar association to join and this is how to do it. And I'm going to make sure that you do it. And then it carried on when I opened my own firm. There was no possible way as an elementary education major in college that I was the least bit equipped to open a law firm when I did, without the help of so many women who had opened firms and run successful businesses and firms that helped me, from little things, from this is what I do for credit card processing, and this is what I use for an answering service, now all the way to these are the books that I read on how to build a really good, really professional, reputable law firm, and have been mentors the whole way on how to do that and how to how to be a successful, respected lawyer.
There are characteristics that you learn from every experience in your life. And I think it's terrific that the Women's Bar Association has had so many women that are affected by the relationships and the networking that they can do within the organization. I think it's very helpful, and it will help people in their careers and help people to learn the balance in their lives.
The Women's Bar Association of Illinois holds a special place for me. Being the interim dean here at Loyola, we've had several presidents of the WBAI that have come from Loyola Law School. We're so proud of them and their leadership. And we've been proud sponsors of the Bar Association, but because we understand the absolute importance, the vital importance that these relationships mean for the further development, nurturing, and sponsorship of the next generation of women lawyers. Without the support of the WBAI, I think we would see many fewer women in leadership roles.
Flash came about because in these groups of women, we're always talking about what are the issues and what can we do about them. Flash, this focus is sexual harassment, the force of lawyers against sexual harassment. It's a group of very strong-willed women who we've all had various experiences and care deeply about this, where we all as young associates, especially someone like me who doesn't even have like a professional network to pull upon as a very young lawyer, when there are situations, there's not a lot of places to go. There's a huge power dynamic in law firms, and women are often put in situations that they don't know how to navigate. So part of what we wanted to do was put together first a group that would raise awareness on some of these issues. And turns out right around the same time we formed, there's a prominent lawyer in domestic relations who had some disgusting allegations came out about him that were founded. He ended up losing his license, I believe. Anyway, we wrote some of the judges about these things. We had media coverage about it. And part of it was letting people know that we're here and we are coming up with processes for young women to have a mentor, have someone to talk to go to, because now at the stage of our careers, we're in a much different position where we're all, partner level and have a voice, that we found our voice right over time. And Flash is a great place for women to go to when they need support. And we also now have a large network of allies and supporters who are interested in helping.
The world is diverse, our clients are diverse, companies are diverse, everything is diverse. And it's really important that our workforce and our workplace from the very top on down, that our workforces represent the diversity that exists in the world.
Diversity is critical for the legal profession in particular because of the role that we play in the justice system. We represent clients large and small. So whether we're talking about somebody who is virtually a pro se plaintiff, to maybe the largest corporations in the world, we owe our clients the best and the brightest legal advice that is available to them. That's why it's important that we have to be a profession that truly is of the best and brightest lawyers, not a profession of the best and brightest of a group of elites. Because when we do that, we are limiting the range of imagination and creativity that might go into finding the right solution for any particular client.
That's a great question. What would I tell Zelda at 25 years of age? I would tell her, please enjoy the journey. I think that we sometimes get so laser focused on the goal or the outcome that we forget that it's really about the process that we take to get to the goal, the lessons that we learn along the way, the people and the friendships and relationships that we develop, on the journey, the setbacks and what we learn from the setbacks. And I think if I could tell myself to just enjoy that process and not be so, frustrated if the goal is not met at the time that it is to be met. There are plenty of goals that I have had in my career and my life that I have not met at the exact point at which someone or myself believed they should be met. And so I think I would tell myself that you can have more joy by just enjoying the ride.
What would I tell my 25-year-old self? Well, I think I'd say exercise and lift weights immediately. I wish I had. And I also think it helps with stress release. I didn't really think I needed that at 25 years old, but if you get into that pattern, it definitely helps you in the balance of your life. And again, I've mentioned balance is very important to me. I think, of course, be more patient. Be patient. Try very hard to slow things down because I'm very much a mover and I'm very reactive. And I think it's an important trait to try to slow things down a little bit sometimes.
Oh, if I could have a conversation with my 25-year-old self, I would tell me to learn to be kinder and less harsh and judgmental, less absolute about things in the world. I would urge myself to cherish friends and family more. Sometimes it's too easy to take the people that we care most about for granted. I'd also tell myself to eat healthier and get more exercise. And most importantly, I would tell my younger self to get a dog. Dogs teach us so much about what's important in life. Anyone who has a dog in their life knows that you learn firsthand about the importance of love and loyalty, humor, living in the moment, and the value of occasional treats.
What I wish I could tell 25-year-old Sarah is that imposter syndrome that I felt is being felt by almost everybody else in the room. And I did not know that until I was much older. In fact, I was at Trial Lawyers College in Wyoming with Jerry Spence, and I'm in a room full of incredibly successful PI lawyers and criminal defense lawyers. And then Jerry Spence, who obviously has renowned. And there they teach you to be open and honest. And it was only there that people felt comfortable kind of revealing those self-doubts that they had and that feeling of being an imposter. And I sat there and I was floored. I thought I had no idea that other people, other than like a few close of my girlfriends that had opened up about it, felt that way. And it was so freeing. And to be told that that means that you care and that means you love your client and that makes you a good lawyer. I wish I had known that earlier. And I wish everybody understood that it's okay to feel that way and that it can be good to feel that way because it motivates you, hopefully, to be a better lawyer. And it means that you really care about your client. And that's what matters.
I wish I could tell my 25-year-old self to keep going despite certain advice from people who are, been in the business longer than you. So I remember when I was a young associate, people saying to me, it's not your job to develop business, for example. You just work it, we bring it in, that's our model. Something about that didn't strike quite well with me. It didn't feel like that's what it should be. So I didn't listen, thank goodness. And then when the economy crashed, I was one of the associates that had business, and then I realized that there was power in the business development side, power and security, really. And I was so grateful that I didn't listen, right? And you never know when Should you be listening to certain things? That applies definitely right now in politics. You don't know who to listen to. I didn't listen when they told me not to announce, and it was a fantastic decision to announce early. It's why we have so much momentum already. But you don't know who to listen to. So I would tell my 25-year-old self, keep having that confidence to not listen when you question what people are telling you. Sometimes your gut instinct is right. Most of the time it's right. So I also would tell myself to keep pushing, because I think I waited too long to start my firm. And I'm really happy. And it's really nice to be able to work with clients that you care about. It's a completely different experience. So I would tell myself to stay confident in what you're doing. Follow your gut and keep working hard.
I wish that I could tell my 25-year-old self a whole host of things. And I remember when I was 25, people telling me, when you're older, you're going to be telling yourself or wishing you had done this or had seen things a little bit differently. And I think everybody who's 25 thinks they know it all, right? But if I could talk to my 25-year-old self today, there'd be a few things I would tell her. First, I would tell her to believe in herself more. I would say it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so don't have the pedal to the metal going 100 miles an hour all the time. I would also tell her, don't be afraid to ask others for help. People are much more willing to help than you'd ever know. And it's a privilege people feel when you are asking them for help and when they can assist. I'd also tell my younger self things have a way of working out, even if they may seem like they won't at the time, and to trust the process known as life. I'd also say be kinder to yourself and don't be afraid of change, because change can be a wonderful thing. I'd also tell her, get used to living outside your comfort zone, because that's the way life as a lawyer and pretty much life as anybody is, especially in the last couple of years. We've seen the world turn upside down, and living outside your comfort zone is where the greatest growth happens. And so that's the place to live. And one quote that I realized means a lot to me a few years ago, and I wish that my 25-year-old self knew this, is a quote, I think it's Albert Einstein. And the quote is, nothing happens until something moves. And that is a very true statement. You can't make things happen unless you actually make a move. And by remaining in the status quo and not making a move, you're actually making a decision. So if you want to get things going, you got to move. So that's what I would tell my 25-year-old self.
Just to have more confidence and not be afraid to speak up or to advocate for myself. Back then, I remember in my 20s, I would be that person sitting at the table and I would be afraid. I always had lots of ideas, but I might be afraid to speak up, and then someone else would say something and that would be my idea. So I wish, back in my 20s, I'd have the confidence then that I have now.
I wanted to say that it is an honor and a privilege to be among all of these awardees. And I want to thank the Women's Bar Association for including me as one of the candidates for or recipients for the Women's Bar Association Leadership Award this year. And I'm very grateful to the Bar Association, and I have a great deal of respect for it. So it means a great deal to me. Thank you.
Everybody has a story that deserves to be told, that gives some basis for how they ended up in my office. And that fundamental sense of fairness helps me represent them. And it's, to tell the story, whether it's to a prosecutor, to get them to understand the case in order to get a good resolution, or to a judge or to a jury. I love helping my clients get what's right for them.
One of the things I think that makes me, the thing that makes me the happiest is finding gratitude, even when things are really insane. So in the midst of a nasty trial, in the midst of my partner sick and dying from cancer, and me having to decide, do I take my kids to hospice? It feels like I shouldn't, right? Like those are big decisions. Which makes everything we're going through right now with this campaign feel like nothing. It's really not hard at all. But I always find something to be grateful for. So I really do think like gratitude is one of my core values, because if you can find amidst the chaos, gratitude for real, you can still be happy even though things are crazy. So people say, how can you be, now I'm a single mom, right? Now apparently I'm a single mom. So a single mom of 3, I have run a law firm. I sit on numerous boards. I'm an elected already. And you're going to run for office? Like, really? And I say, yeah, because I find a way to be happy and grateful. I'm grateful to give back to the community that helped me. I'm grateful to be able to impact my neighborhood where my kids are going to grow up. They're not going to grow up thinking that you can treat people like that and still be, what they think is the president. They say I'm running for president. I'm running for president of my neighborhood, I guess. So, and they're aware of things like this. So that's where you find that gratitude and the joy from what you're doing. And it matters.
What a great evening it is to recognize women trailblazers in the law. My name is Molly Condon, and along with the rest of this year's committee and the Women's Bar Association of Illinois, we would like to sincerely thank you and all of our generous sponsors whose support and contributions allow events like this to continue to occur. We hope tonight that you draw inspiration from this year's incredible class of honorees. And so without further ado, I would first like to recognize our presenting sponsor, McDermott, Will, and Emery. We can't forget our advocate sponsor, Bates Carey. And certainly we can't forget our supporting sponsors, the Tony Law Firm and Wallace Legal Group. Last, but certainly not least, we would like to recognize the Loyola School of Law, the Jewish Judges Association, and the Goldish and Savage families, who are our friend sponsors this year. We hope you enjoy this evening's program as you learn about these wonderful women's rise to success.